One thing I've always wanted to achieve since I started reading manga is being caught up to every series running in Shonen Jump. But it turns out that's a really hard goal, so instead at the start of 2023, I decided to read every new manga that comes out because then, eventually, I will be caught up to everything in the magazine. With the calendar year for the magazine recently coming to a close, and me having read everything that's come out of Shonen Jump in 2023, what better time is there than now to rank the manga that have come out this year and give my opinions on them. Easily starting off at the bottom of the list, my least favorite manga to come out of 2023, and one of the only 3 published this year that have been cancelled so far, it's Head Gil. I simply just didn't like this series from the start. Right off the bat, I thought Gil was annoying, and him using an axe felt a little too on the nose for me to take it seriously. Honestly, I didn't like any of the characters, they just didn't grab my attention, and I wasn't too fond of anyone's character design. Also, the fight choreography just wasn't that good in my opinion. At times it could be okay, but in smaller panels it was just a jumbled mess that was hard to follow. Overall, this manga was primarily just issues for me, and I would say its only somewhat good chapter was chapter 1. So there we have it, starting off the list at number 11, Head Gil. Next up on the list is yet another axed manga, coming in at number 10, Do Retry. I really wanted to like Do Retry, but after the first couple chapters, you could tell the manga was doomed to fail. I liked the older setting and thought it was cool, especially since the main part of the manga was boxing, so maybe we could have seen how certain boxing styles or something like that were developed. But instead we got the dude with a huge arm, immediately making the series lose its credibility and become a disappointing boxing manga with ridiculous fights. I also just didn't like the main character, and the whole thing about having a strong heart, it felt just kinda dumb, and like there was no point to the story because you knew he was gonna win every fight because he has a strong heart. I simply just didn't like this manga, which lands it at the number 10 spot. Coming in at number 9, and the first manga on this list that hasn't been axed yet, it's Kill Blue. My main gripe with this series is the fact that Oga is a 40-year-old man in middle school. It's just weird. The manga is also just a bad mix of comedy and action, which makes me dread reading the newest chapter because it's either going to be a joke chapter where the jokes rarely, and I mean rarely, land, or an action chapter with subpar action. This manga is especially confusing because we already have Sakamoto Days and it does everything way better than Kill Blue on every level. I have to correct myself, I wouldn't say I dread reading this one every week, but it's not one I look forward to, and I sometimes have to force myself to read it just so I don't fall behind. So yeah, don't like Kill Blue. 2 on Ice comes in at 8 on the list. I really wanted to like this one when I heard about its premise due to how rare ice skating manga are, especially in Shonen Jump. But sadly, I just can't get into this manga, and I don't really know why besides the fact that it's just not my cup of tea. I was hoping it would be more cutthroat and the MC would have to face bigger obstacles, but so far it seems like every conflict is solved in a chapter and ends up going the MC's way. I wish in the recent chapters he would have decided to go solo and then pair up with the girl, just because it seemed cooler in my opinion to have him make that choice and be selfish and then grow from that and realize he made a mistake, but no. This manga just falls flat and doesn't feel like it has the competitive drive that other sports series have, which makes it a boring read and lands it at number 8. Now it's time for the third and final axed manga of the year, TenMaku Cinema, which lands itself at number 7. I liked the filmmaking aspect of this manga and thought it was really cool, especially since I have made short films before, so it made it easier to understand the dilemmas the main character was going through, which made me enjoy the manga more. My only issue with this series is the fact that TenMaku exists. I wish this was a manga simply about a guy who just wants to make movies and has to go through all the trials and tribulations that come along with that. So having TenMaku kind of just felt like a deus ex machina that wasn't needed. But sadly, I understand why TenMaku was included in the story because at the end of the day, it is a Shonen Jump manga and it needs something to grab people, and I think sadly, a manga about making movies just isn't enough. I wish some other manga would have been cancelled instead, but oh well, what can you do? TenMaku still coming in at a respectful 7th place in the list. Now, right in the middle of the list, coming in at number 6 is none other than Age Exorcist. I don't really have a lot to say about this manga besides the fact that I got my hopes way too high at the start of the series and have since been humbled. I really liked the first chapter of New, but then the next 5 or so hit like a truck and honestly made me hate the series just because of all the attention it was getting and how it wasn't becoming what I was hoping it would be. But after realizing the manga would never become the spiritual successor to Bleach that I hoped it would, the manga became better. That doesn't mean I like it though, it's simply just okay, and number 6 is the perfect spot for a new Age Exorcist. Nothing good, nothing too bad. The newest manga to be released on this list, coming in at number 5, it's Shadow Eliminators. The main thing I like about this manga is its art, because it reminds me of Kento Matsuro's art, which for those of you who don't know is the guy who did Phantom Seer and Tokyo Shinobi Squad. This whole series kinda just feels like Phantom Seer, but not exactly, and to be honest with you guys, I'm here for it. I like both the main characters we've been introduced to, and I'm excited to see who else gets added to the cast and what the main villains of this story are going to look like. There's not much more to say besides that though, just because there are only 2 chapters so far, but I would still put this manga in the number 5 position, and I'm excited to see where it goes. A manga that I honestly didn't expect to rank this high, especially not 4th after the first couple chapters, but has somehow won me over is Mama Yu Yu. I'll be honest, I wasn't a huge fan of the first couple of chapters, probably up until around chapter 5 I was pretty skeptical of the story and where it was gonna go, but I can confidently say I've been enjoying all the recent stuff. I think Corleo is a cool MC, and I'm interested to see why he's able to wield multiple sigils. I also like the rest of the cast too, and I think it's cool that the main group is going to consist of both heroes and demons. I hope the mangaka decides to do something cool and have it so that the antagonists are also a group of demons and humans, but who knows, especially with the reveal of who we can consider to be the main antagonist of the story. The one thing I would say this manga is lacking in is its world building. I mean, come on, it's literally just a plus sign, but who knows, maybe more continents will be revealed and then we'll get some big world building moments, but until then, the world is pretty disappointing. That being my only complaint though is a pretty good thing. Also, I have heard some rumors that it may be getting cancelled due to the recent events in the latest chapter, but honestly, I think that's kinda just how the antagonist of this series works, and I'm not too worried about it getting axed, especially without any Volume 1 sales numbers. So, there you have it, coming in at number 4, Mama Yu Yu. My third favorite manga of the 2022 Jump releases is none other than Martial Master Asumi. This manga pretty much does everything I wanted Retry to do, and it does it better, but coming from a veteran mangaka who has done a successful fighting series before, that's no surprise. The dude pretty much has cheat codes compared to Retry. Martial Master Asumi is the type of cutthroat I wanted 2 on Ice to be. Nito is a dope main character, and I love how he doesn't hold back and understands that everyone fights for their own reason and that he too has his own reason for getting in the ring. From the start, I've liked this series and it's only grown on me with each chapter. The art is great, but that's no surprise yet again coming from a veteran author, especially since his last manga was another fighting one. I also like the scale of this manga and how it feels like it has a semi-realistic sense of progression, unlike 2 on Ice where the main dude is already competing against Olympic athletes and scoring semi-close to them. But instead, Nito's progression actually makes sense and doesn't feel like any crazy leaps are being taken to elevate his progression. Sadly though, I don't think it's going to be sticking around for long because even though it's done by a veteran mangaka, it still had really bad Volume 1 sales numbers, but that's not going to change my ranking, and I hope Martial Master Asumi can weave the axe and stick around for a while. Coming in at number 2, and one that I doubt many people would put this high on their own personal list, it's Green Green Greens. So far, with only 3 chapters, this manga has already become my favorite ongoing sports manga in the magazine, and arguably one of my favorite ongoing series. I love the art, I think it's cool, I don't know how to describe it in technical terms, so stick with me here. I like how it feels unpolished, but not like a rough draft, if that makes sense. I also really like the eyes, and the character designs in general are really good, and I also like how we're already meeting what is seemingly the main cast only 3 chapters in. The MC is really cool in my opinion, and I like his determination towards golf and how he's actually found something he's passionate about that drives him. I also like how cool the act of swinging looks. I don't know how to describe it besides just saying the manga makes it look cool when it wants to. I think it's smart to start with just the driving range because then the MC is going to have to learn about the actual game of golf and learn how to putt and all that other good stuff. I see this one sticking around for a while, especially because of Rising Impact, another golfing series getting an anime on Netflix, so hopefully that'll make more people want to read golfing manga. Also, considering the other sports manga in the magazine right now, I would say this is the most sports manga type one there is, if that makes sense. Overall, I really like Green Green Greens and hope it gets the attention I think it deserves. Finally, coming in at number 1, and to no one's surprise, it's Kagarachi. I mean, come on, what can I say about this one that hasn't already been said? It's just cool, it oozes cool. The main thing I like about this series is its art. It's just really cool, and I love how little gray is used. I also really like the character designs, and honestly, Chihiro probably has the lamest design and all the other ones are super cool. I also like how Sojo feels like a menacing villain, but we know there are people who outrank him, and I just think that's dope. That's the perfect word I would use to describe this series if I had to do it in one word: dope. I hope we get some more world building, but at the same time, with the recent introduction of the Kamunabi, it's pretty much guaranteed. Also, I love the people from the Kamunabi that we've been introduced to, and I hope they stick around, especially the dude with the Tengu type mask. I think the fights are really well done, and I love the paneling in certain instances and how it flows in the fights. I also love how tense the fights feel as you read them, and how easy it is to get carried away in the manga's vibe and get lost in the story and cool fights. I can't really find any complaints for Kagarachi that aren't petty. It's just a really dope manga, and there's no point in me telling you to check it out because just about everyone in the manga and anime community know about this one. Well, there you guys have it. There's my personal ranking of every 2023 Shonen Jump manga. I hope you guys enjoyed, and please share your own list in the comments. I'm curious to see how ours compare. Also, while you're down there, how about you hit the like button? I mean, you made it this far in the video, there had to be something you liked about it, and doing that lets me know that the content I put out is enjoyed, and it also does stuff for the algorithm. And hey, another request while you're down there: if you enjoyed this video and want to see more of my content, then please subscribe or just go to my channel and check stuff out. It lets me know that what I do is appreciated, and in all honesty, it encourages me to try and make videos more often. Either way though, that'll be all from me for now. I hope you guys have a good holiday, celebrating whatever it is you celebrate. I'm going to try to post a couple more times before I'm back to college, but no promises. Peace.